Hey guys, welcome to the third episode of The Vault. My name is Alasia Iways, and I am here with Mike Gminski, who is a former NBA player, All-American at Duke University, and who is now a counselor at the Rebound program, helping others in their journey with sobriety.
The funny thing was that I was not the youngest guy on the team until my junior year.
Wow. Take me through your recruiting process. Was Duke your #1 school? Okay. This is going to be a tough one.
I didn't even really know about Duke, and mine was an odd journey. Just one bite?
All of it.
No.
Hey guys, so here we are with Mike Gminski. Mike, first thing I always wanted to know, what is it like being 6'11"?
Okay, well here's the thing. I've been this tall since I was 15 years old.
15 years old.
So needless to say, I was the tallest one in my class, but I grew fast, grew early. It took me a while to be comfortable in my own skin. It was really tough in high school, but actually in college, I started to feel a little bit more comfortable, and then certainly when I got to the NBA, I wasn't even close to the tallest one on the floor.
Right.
15, I was 6'11".
Wow. So as a little kid, have you always dreamt of going to the NBA?
My first dream was actually to be a baseball player.
Baseball player?
Yeah, I love baseball. And when I was younger, I was much better at baseball than I was at basketball.
Wow.
And I kept growing.
Right, right.
And I was 6'7" as a freshman.
Wow.
6'9" as a sophomore.
Okay.
And 6'11" as a junior. And there were no tall baseball players back then. And I started to get recruited for basketball.
Okay.
And basketball sort of chose me as opposed to the other way around. I mean, I loved it. I loved playing, but baseball is my first love.
That is amazing. Now, during your recruitment in high school, I bet colleges were throwing themselves at you. Take me through your recruiting process. Was Duke your #1 school?
No, I didn't even really know about Duke, and mine was an odd journey. I was not really challenged in the league that I was playing in high school, so I made the decision after my sophomore year to graduate early, after my junior year.
Wow.
And recruiting was a lot different then, Alasia. It was you weren't recruited really till your senior year, and it really wasn't like it is today, with AAU and all that stuff. And so I only let a few schools know that I was going to graduate early, and one of them was the University of Maryland.
Okay.
And while I went to their camp after my sophomore year to see what the campus was like, they had a counselor there named Terry Chili from Duke. He started talking to me about Duke, and I told him my story, and he said, I think the coaches would like to talk with you. So that's how Duke got into the process.
Yes.
And I went down there and on my visit and fell in love with Duke and knew that's where I wanted to go.
What are the odds of going to a Maryland college camp, then meeting a counselor from Duke University? Take me through your emotions of being so young and going into college very young. It
took a lot of pressure off of me. I felt very comfortable. I'd gone to the other schools that I was looking at on an unofficial visit that summer after my sophomore year. I agreed to take the official visit to Duke in October of my junior year in high school.
Okay, yes.
And left there, and I committed to them and they committed to me. And I wanted to get through that process before my last year playing.
Right.
So I could just concentrate on that and not worry about recruiting.
So how old were you when you stepped on campus?
I just turned 17.
17?
Yeah, my birthday, I graduated from high school when I was 16. My birthday was in August, and we had freshman orientation that last week in August. I was 17 years old.
Now I'm guessing you were the youngest on the team. Was that intimidating at all?
It was. I had played around college players, in my high school in the summertime in an effort to get better. And so I was used to that environment. It was a little intimidating. Now, the funny thing was that I was not the youngest guy on the team until my junior year, because the freshman class when I was a sophomore were all older than me. So it wasn't until my junior year that I wasn't the youngest guy on the team.
Wow.
So that was a little unusual.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but it was great.
Being an All-American at Duke University, what is that feeling like?
It was a wonderful experience because at the time, Duke was not the Duke that is known today.
Right.
And Coach K was not the coach at that time. They had a really good run in the 60s under a gentleman named Vic Bubis, but the program had slipped, and it was really great to be a part of the revitalization, resurgence of it. And we got back and played in the national championship game in 1978, and really kind of set the stage. My coach left after I graduated.
Okay.
And then they hired Coach K. So I never played for him.
Oh, okay.
But yes. I got to know him early on in the process.
Coach K is a great coach. Take me to one of your best games at Duke University.
Well, the one that was the most overwhelming was playing for the national championship. That was just a surreal experience. And But I think I guess the game that really stands out to me in Cameron Indoor Stadium is such a special place to me, our home court at Duke. And it was my sophomore year. We had started to really get the pieces together of being a good team. And North Carolina, who was our biggest rival, came in, and they were ranked number 3 in the country. And we were playing well, and we wound up beating them in Cameron, and it was as loud as I'd ever heard the stadium. Our fans finally felt like the program was back.
That's amazing.
And it was just it was a great atmosphere. And we went in the locker room after that game, and we started to set our sights pretty high.
Wow. At what point did you decide, hey, look, I want to play in the NBA, and I'm going to the draft?
In the summertime, I was playing on teams that were, the national team. It's a lot different. It was a lot different then than it is now. It was mostly college players, no pros. And we were tracking, and I was tracking to be on the team, 1980 Olympic team.
Nice.
But because of the boycott, the United States boycotted, it was in Moscow that year, and they decided to boycott the Olympics, and so we never got to go.
Never got a chance to go.
But I was playing against like Magic Johnson and those guys, playing with them as teammates and against them, and so I got the sense that I had a chance,
right,
at least to play in the league. So I'd always dreamt that. I grew up really not too far from New York City. And the Knicks were my team.
Okay.
And they were winning championships when I was younger in 70 and 73.
Yeah.
So I always dreamed of playing in Madison Square Garden. And
that's amazing.
I look back now and I really shake my head, Elijah. Going back to, like Bob Lanier and Dave Cowens and Wes Unseld and the older guys, and then Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Moses Malone and Robert Parrish and, that whole group of great centers. And then Patrick Ewing and Akeem Olajuwon and kind of that next guard. And my last couple of years, I played against Shaquille O'Neal when he was a rookie. And a lot slimmer than he was as his career went on. He was very athletic and very strong.
That is amazing. So I know addiction falls into place somewhere in the in the NBA. When did that first start off?
For me, I was, I drank when I was in the league. No drugs, and mostly beer.
Okay.
And never really interfered with my playing at all. When I got into broadcasting, I retired in '94. And went right into my first broadcast with the Hornets, and didn't have any kind of preparation for it either. Right. They sat me down. They said, "There's your headset," and so we kind of went hit the ground running. But then it progressed to alcohol, and I never really felt like it impacted my ability to do my job or affected my life in any way.
Right.
But things really hit ahead for me when my fiancé passed away. It was back in 2015. And it was just such a catastrophic thing for me to go through. I never dealt with it. And I tried to self-medicate, basically.
With alcohol.
With alcohol. And Xanax. I spiraled, and there was a couple of years the people close to me kind of gave me a little bit of a hall pass because of Sarah. But 2 years after her death, they wanted to do an intervention with me, and I wasn't having it.
Yeah.
I was in denial. I thought that I knew I had an issue.
Yeah.
But I thought I was fully capable of doing something about it, which never turns out well.
Right. Now, was her death something so sudden, or?
Yeah, it was. Basically, her liver failed her due to a couple of things. Plus, she had a congenital heart defect as well, which really, she was 32 when she died.
Wow.
And that was the last thing that I ever expected. I was always worried about me predeceasing her when she was still, fairly young.
Right.
Didn't work out that way, and like I said, it was just an awful 24 hours when it happened, and I never really fully recovered from it.
At what point did it get too much for you?
It was really the perfect storm for me last year in COVID.
Okay.
When COVID broke out, and really for the first time in March. It was the first week in March when the ACC tournament was canceled and the NCAA tournament was canceled, and virtually everybody was in a stay in place. You were basically quarantined in your house. I was in my apartment, and it's irony of ironies, the liquor stores were the ones, they remained open. So I was really doing nothing, Alicia, but I was drinking all day, right, passing out and getting up and doing that again.
Wow.
And it was actually, as that whole thing unfolded, my son was with me, and he was the one who had intervention for me.
Wow. What did he say to you?
It was a surprise. I was sitting there one night watching TV, and he came out with a computer. It was a Zoom intervention.
Okay.
And it was Sean Nassif from here and another gentleman from Rebound were on the other end of it, plus a woman who was the maid of honor in my first wedding,
wow,
who I'd known at Duke.
Yeah.
And she was 15 years in sobriety.
Wow.
So there was a lot of love, and I you know what, I just, this moment of, the quintessential moment of clarity came over me, and I was completely accepting of the intervention.
Wow.
And I knew it was the right thing to do, and I agreed to go. He, like, the weight of the world was taken off his shoulders, because he was, Noah was in there. He was seeing it on a daily basis, seeing me just fade away.
Right.
And he saved me.
What does that mean to you? Your own son, seeing you go from an alcoholic to now, congratulations, 1 year sober, mm-hmm, your son being your number one supporter. What does that mean to you? It's
an unbelievable thing. And he's, the most important thing that I have in my life is being a father to him. And now, he was 22 at the time. And our relationship kind of transcends father-son. There's still that, but we're best friends. We're big brother, little brother. There are a lot of different sides to it, right, but all with love. And we've always had a great line of communication. And he was the one that could have done that and really gotten my attention. Right. And he did. So saying yes, coming to the Rebound program, mm-hmm, just last year, how were you when you first stepped into this program? I was a hot steaming mess when, and they told me this to drink on the way down. To drink to the Rebound? From Charlotte down to detox. Because when you do benzos and alcohol, you are a high seizure risk. Oh, wow. And they didn't want me to do that in the car ride down. Right. And my son was, brought me down, and I'm drinking vodka on the way down. Oh my goodness. And I got out of the car, and, Sean was there, and there were people over at the detox facility that I went to first, and I kind of stumbled and fell into their arms. And
Oh my
but that was in July 13th of last year. So my first day of sobriety was July 14th.
Wow.
And I was in detox for 11 days. And I had somebody in my room 24/7 for the first 6 days because I was a seizure risk and a fall down risk.
Wow.
So I had somebody with me the whole time.
Wow.
And I left there and came to Rebound and started 2 separate 30-day sessions here concurrently.
Jason Williams, who was, once you played with him in the NBA and now he's your counselor. How is that? How is,
It was like he steered me down here. I fully believe that. And, Jason was a rookie when I was with the Sixers.
Right.
So, and he was like a unbroken Colt back then, just so full of energy. And he would go back to New York City from Philly every chance he got. And, it was interesting seeing him on that end. But then just so ironic that I would come to him for help, all these years later.
Right.
And I knew, I felt completely comfortable with him and the program. And it just made sense on every level.
The Rebound program, what you guys do here is adventure therapy. What is that like? I mean, I seen videos of you flying out of a plane?
Yeah, it was skydiving.
Skydiving.
Yeah.
I mean,
parasailing.
Parasailing, riding horses. What does that adventure therapy do to you as you are sobering up?
Well, the funny story, during the intervention, they were explaining to me exactly what you asked. And I said, well, what are some of the things that you do? And they said, well, skydiving is one of them. And I got my back up and I said, there is no bleeping way that I'm jumping out of a plane, ever.
Right.
That's a non-starter. And I came down, and my first 30 days, I didn't push it. And we thought another 30 days would be beneficial for me, which, it really was. And they kind of slid that in the middle of the second 30 days. We're driving out, and they said, well, we're going to go out to the airport. And as soon as they said that, I knew where we were going.
Oh my goodness.
And this calm came over me. I said, all right, I'll go. And, went up, did it. And it was the most liberating thing I've ever done in my life. And it really hits to the core of adventure therapy to get you outside of your comfort zone. I mean, I had my heels dug in so hard.
Oh no.
And all of a sudden I'm sitting there on the plane and I'm looking down and I got my buddy on my back, and I said, all right, let's go. And did it and was so exhilarating. I think Jason was more nervous about me having something go wrong.
Yeah.
And when I landed, he was there, came over, gave me a big hug, and I was just on such an adrenaline rush after that. It was really, I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
It's almost like adventure therapy teaches you anything is possible. I mean, who would have thought you would be skydiving? Who would have thought that you would be scuba diving with sharks or parasailing over the ocean? I mean, that is such an amazing activities to do.
For days, and I still catch myself doing it. I'll look up at the clouds and I'll say, you know what, I was above that and I jumped out of an airplane.
And you survived.
And I survived it. And it truly, like you said, anything became possible, and sobriety became possible for me.
Right. What is it like counseling others who were once in your position? And just 1 year ago you came in stumbling, 24-hour cameras on you.
I look back in what has transpired in a year, and I can't believe it on a lot of levels that I was where I described that was on that 13th of 2020 to where I am now. But in my early recovery back in Charlotte, I had a number of people say, you can really be a positive force for other people like you. It's been as beneficial for me as it is, I hope it's been for the people, who were here on that same journey.
Right.
There are a lot of people in our industry that have issues.
Right.
And there are some who, it ends their career. There are some who get better. You know, I'm very fortunate to have the full support of all the people that I work with, and had a great first year back broadcasting.
Yeah.
It's funny. One of the women who was helping me in my outpatient work when I first got back to Charlotte, she went back on YouTube and watched some of my old broadcasts from a year or two prior to that, and then to, you know, last year sober.
Wow.
And she was like, "Man, you're a different person." And I felt like a different person last year, even as surreal as last year was with COVID and everything. It was wonderful to, you know, be alert and be awake. I have some horrible memories of 2020, but I also have some very fond memories of 2020.
Yeah.
You know, it was the start of a new journey for me. And, you know, just thank God for so many things to have fallen into place the way they did.
Yes.
Like I said, it's made sense, and it's made sense for me to come back down here and be a part of what they do at Rebound.
If there was one thing that you can tell your younger self, if you could go back in time, what would that one thing be and why?
Well, knowing what I know now, and there was addiction in my family, and I should have paid more attention to, you know, to that aspect of it. And I would, you know, say to anybody out there who's got that in their family, that's a flag. I mean, it's not a guarantee, but it's something to look out for.
Right. Mike Gminski, thank you so much for coming on my show.
Well, my pleasure. I'm thrilled at what you're doing. I mean, we were talking earlier that I just stepped in and started doing radio for the Hornets, no real training or anything. And what you're doing here is awesome. Best of luck, and you're going to do well.
Thank you. Thank you. This concludes our interview. Mike, thank you so much for coming on my show. It was a pleasure hearing your story, and I hope it inspires others.
Thank you, Liz. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Now we are on to our second adventure. Thank you, guys. Hey guys, welcome to the second segment of The Vault. Today I will be in a 3-point shootout with Mike Gminski. This is going to be a tough one. And whoever wins, wins. Whoever loses has to eat something gross, but he doesn't. All right, let's go.
Yeah, she can't beat a 62-year-old.
Okay, I'm going first.
You're going first.
Okay, this looks about right.
Yep.
Ready? Should we time ourselves?
No, just take your time.
Okay. Oh, gosh. That's one. Oh, uh-oh. That's two. Uh-oh.
What are we doing next?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, that's three. Okay. Oh, my. Okay, Mike. Okay, Mike.
Game over.
Okay.
I'm not even going to shoot.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I made one. I'm not going to.
Okay. Okay. That's okay.
1 for 2. Oh.
Okay. Okay.
2 for 4. The money ball.
Step back. Hey!
Oh.
Oh.
Heartache.
So here we have a sandwich of some sort. I hope you don't have any allergies.
You'll find out.
Uh-oh. Let me just... There you go. What is inside? That doesn't stink?
Just one bite?
All of it.
No.
Ew! Ew! Wait, it's good?
I think I'll save some for later.
That is disgusting. So, guys, we have here mustard, pepperonis, onions. Yeah? You tasted all of it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. No. I thought you were going to. Thank you guys so much. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.